What's up, boys? I haven't made a video in a bit because there's not really been a lot going on, and also I am quite lazy. So yeah, how about this whole RedFall thing, huh? I don't know, I don't remember how to do intros, man. I'm sorry. So it has recently been announced that RedFall will be locked to 30 FPS on Xbox. I'm not sure if that also goes for PC, but it doesn't really matter. Because that's really fucking bad that the game runs at 30 FPS in 2023. I've seen a lot of Xbox fanboys cope by saying, oh, but it's only because with a lower FPS they can have a higher resolution and they can have really top quality textures. And I'm like, that doesn't really matter because the game's gonna look like shit anyway when it runs at 30 FPS. Anyway, this video is about Reforge Gaming, a glue sniffer with access to way too much hair gel, that is claiming that because RedFall is releasing at 30 FPS locked, Xbox as a brand has completely failed. They might as well give up now, and they've lost the quote-unquote console war. It's very cringe, and I think we should just get into it. Also, his entire live stream is an hour long, so I'm not gonna cover everything he says, but just the important bits, I guess.
The next-gen console war is over, and PS5 won. And that's what this video is about. This is not a Sony pony video that I'm sure people will decry it as and dismiss it as. I have a longer standing history with Xbox, more games owned on their ecosystem, bought into the Xbox Series X generation of consoles, and that's what this video is ultimately about.
Man, this is definitely Sony pony content. You're 100% a PlayStation fanboy. Not only is this video called The Next Gen Console Wars Over and PS5 just won, but one look at your tweets or at any of your other videos, anybody with more than 2 brain cells can tell that you're a PlayStation fanboy. But I have more Xbox games. Yeah, that doesn't really matter when you constantly shit on Xbox and suck Sony's dick every second you get.
I think even Xbox fans are finally realizing that Microsoft is not interested in the next gen fight. They have seemingly thrown in the towel, or at the very least, they are going to have to throw in the towel and shift to other priorities.
Yeah, guys, RedFall is 30 FPS, so that definitely means that Microsoft is just throwing in the towel and giving up. All those other games that have come out and are coming out, they don't matter, right? They might as well not exist. Microsoft might as well just shut down the Xbox branch now because one game is 30 FPS. If this is a trend and all future games are also going to be locked at 30 FPS, that's a problem, right? And then you can start talking about, oh, they fucked up majorly. But this is one game, dude.
The PS5 continues to look more impressive as a next-gen console versus the Xbox Series X and S. After 2 years of hearing about the Xbox Series X being the most powerful console, it can't seem to make a dent in sales or get a good first-party next-gen offering into the market. Aside from Forza Horizon 5, they haven't had a strong first-party next-gen showing.
Guys, Flight Simulator doesn't exist, guys. Grounded doesn't exist, guys. Fire Rush doesn't exist, guys. Halo Infinite's not real. It's not real. I mean, you can say about Halo Infinite what you want, the multiplayer kinda dead. But, I don't know, the campaign still exists, and also, are we gonna pretend Sony has the greatest next generation games of all time? Because honestly, what game did Sony bring out on the PS5 is a must-play? Or what game looks so good that no game can match it? Honestly, he said, he's besides Forza Horizon 5, Xbox doesn't really have anything. Bro, Forza Horizon 5 looks better than every single game on PS5. And Flight Simulator, same, dude. But that doesn't count as a game because it's a simulator. I forgot about that, I'm so stupid.
And virtually every next-gen multi-platform title that has launched on their system has to run at 900p or dynamic 1080 on the Series S just to achieve shaky 60 FPS, sorry.
Yeah, it's the Series S. It's the cheaper version you get if you don't want or you can't afford the Series X. So I don't really see the problem with it not performing as well.
And this week feels like a nail in the coffin. On the heels of an embarrassing RedFall gameplay debut and the stunning revelation that it will launch without performance mode, PlayStation gets to showcase Burning Shores gameplay for Horizon Forbidden West, and true next-gen visuals, fluid combat, stunning draw distances.
I've heard this so many times, the true next-gen game with next-gen visuals and combat and whatever. The only time I've heard that I went wow, this game actually looks way better than anything else I've ever seen was with Red Dead 2. After that, everything kind of just looks This, like, it looks good. The Horizon looks good. It's just, it doesn't look amazing to the point where I'm like, wow, you can't compare this to anything else, you know? Also, on top of that, I just don't think the Horizon games are that good. Like, they get overshadowed every time they come out by games that look 10 times worse, you know? Breath of the Wild looks worse than the first Horizon. Elden Ring looks worse than Horizon Forbidden West, yet completely overshadowed them, so graphics really don't matter. That's kind of proof that they don't matter.
And then they get to do 20 minutes of Final Fantasy XVI gameplay that was very impressive. From the combat visuals to the environments, we have seen what looks like a truly next-gen game.
Man, we really should just stop with the whole, you know, this game looks truly next-gen or whatever, because again, this game, yeah, the new Final Fantasy, it looks good. However, I've seen games with a similar art style that look the same or better, or like, does it really matter that much? Well, again, clearly not, since games that look worse are constantly outselling games that look quote-unquote next-gen.
And this is all just in the span of a week, while Xbox fans have to accept another disappointing announcement. And this isn't a delay announcement, it's admission of defeat. This isn't some tribalistic console war drum that I'm banging on.
Yeah, you definitely are. And what do you mean, yet another disappointing announcement? Like, what was the previous disappointing announcement? I guess that Starfield got delayed? Oh no, they're taking longer, so the game will be better on release. What a problem.
This is me, an Xbox Series X owner, realizing just what I can expect from the console this generation. Disappointment and half-baked games are basically what I can look forward to. Nobody can stare straight face at the Redfall gameplay and the 30 FPS announcement compared to what Sony is getting to announce and not see a devastating difference.
Can I just say that Final Fantasy isn't even a Sony game, it's a game they just bought, right? They just paid Square Enix to make it exclusive to their console. But this same guy will fucking call Microsoft out when they do a similar thing. It's insane. This fanboy logic makes no sense, guys.
We were promised 60 FPS. We were promised the potential of 120 FPS. Not old-gen resolutions of 900 and 1080 and 60 FPS, I guess, looking like a pipe dream at this point.
Guys, this one singular game on Xbox is running in 30 FPS. Therefore, it's a pipe dream to believe, you know, that 60 FPS games are possible.
No matter what angle you look at this, number one, no matter what angle you look at this, Xbox has failed to compete once again, and this time they didn't even seem to try. With virtually no next-gen first-party presence and faltering console sales.
I mean, the no first-party presence isn't really true, is it? Because they do release, you know, first-party exclusives on the console. I just feel like they probably have a lot of games. They do have a lot of games that are already announced, but that just weren't ready for the next generation, I guess, so they're gonna take a couple years before they can really come out. Like, there are a lot of games we don't really know anything about yet, like Fable and the new Perfect Dark and shit like that. And then when it comes to console sales, I believe Xbox Series X has sold like 20 million versus PlayStation 5's 30 million, which both don't sound like a lot, but there's a 10 million gap there, which I think can be explained by the fact that Sony owns more than 50% of the market.
The next-gen war never even really started. And the real losers in this equation are the people who bought a Series X. All the promises of 60 FPS standard and 120 FPS possibilities, it feels like a distant dream that has now become a punchline and a bad joke.
One game is running shittily at 30 FPS, guys. Like, again, what FPS does Halo Infinite run at? What FPS does Forza Horizon 5 run at, or Hi-Fi Rush? Because I can tell you right now, I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up because I'm too tired. But I know for a fact it's not 30.
The second thing I have to say, even if we hope that by some miracle this generation turns to favor Microsoft, it's likely to be in ways that won't change anything in the near future. Sudden ownership of ABK won't create new next-gen first-party titles out of thin air.
Nobody is expecting that, mate. But you know what will create new first-party games? Studios. New and more studios that will be acquired by purchasing ABK. It's fucking dumbass. Like, what do you mean out of thin air? No shit, games are never created out of thin air.
These were games that were already coming to the market. It won't suddenly make parity challenges of the Series X and the S disappear. If anything, it could make things worse for those coming titles, as it seemingly has for Redfall and Starfield.
Okay, but what about all the other games that were in development before Microsoft purchased Bethesda or any of the other studios, right? That then came out and didn't have any problems, right? Because Redfall is the only one that is coming out that is locked at 30 FPS, which is a problem, right? But all these other games, Psychonauts 2, Grounded, Hi-Fi Rush, none of them have any of these problems. And you keep saying that Starfield is also part of the problem. The only thing that happened to Starfield is it got delayed again because they're trying to make the game the best it can possibly be at launch. How the fuck is that a negative? Like, genuinely.
It will be the illusion of growth and value increase. Titles already in production and games already headed to the market will suddenly have new ownership and land on Game Pass. That's a temporary victory, and it will come at a cost seemingly already being paid for in quality loss seen in Redfall and potentially Starfield.
Okay, but Double Fine, for example, stated that Psychonauts 2, because of the Microsoft purchase and it being put on Game Pass, was able to really profit from that, and the game was able to be bigger and better than before. So how do you explain that, huh? Oh, you're not gonna talk about that because it doesn't fit your narrative? Okay, cool, man.
So here's my conclusion. This kind of feels like a slow-motion car crash that suddenly had its footage sped up. What seemed like something that was happening slowly over the last 2 years has suddenly come crashing down in the matter of a week. Even the Minecraft Legends reviews are coming in, and they look terrible. Another fail in a history of failures.
Yeah, that's a bit fucking harsh, mate. The game isn't out yet, and you're already calling it a failure because you saw some negative reviews. Now, you don't state which reviews these are, but the reviews I've seen have been somewhat good. Like, also, when I say reviews that are positive, I'm talking about people that got an early copy and are playing the game on YouTube. So you could say, I guess, that kind of influences their opinion, but I really don't respect gaming journalists enough to read articles. Anyway, boys, I'm sure he has many more terrible takes in this live stream, but it's just the video's getting too long. It's getting too long, okay? And I need sleep too. So I think I'm gonna call it here. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.